All right, guys. So I was gonna make a video just ranting on this, going off, but I thought we'd pull up some of the charts, make it very, very interesting. I'm gonna try to be nice here. No, there's nothing to be mean about. It's just I keep getting this question in the live streams about cannabis stocks and marijuana stocks, and there it is a great industry, and I want to let people in on how to analyze these and how to predict these moves because it is so telegraphed and quite frankly has nothing to do with technical analysis. So that is my opinion on it. A lot you could, and I want you guys to see and understand. And if you guys have been watching some of my videos recently, you see the approach we take. It's finding these pieces of news and information so we could profit off of them and better the odds in our favor. And it's not I want actionable stuff for the stock market. And that's pretty much what we're dealing with here. And what I mean by that is these marijuana stocks have been moving. It's been interesting since about, I think, October, a little prior to that, beginning at 2018, really. And it started with legislation. Now, there's something that happens because I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I know you don't like to trade stocks like these, this and that. Well, I want you guys to get to understand something with how a lot of these companies work and even cannabis related. I said the industry is very, very immature, and it is. There's still at least 4 or 5 years before you could even start to determine winners and losers and the new players that will come and exit the market. So I think that's one of the most interesting parts people need to pick up on, and understanding that you know these movements in everything is pretty much driven by legislation. It's timing of it. So a lot of people have played this. I got asked this question on cannabis, General Cannabis Corp, and this was another point. A lot of these companies, there's a bubble, shit happens, or they see just like Bitcoin, people just start slapping their names on this in the stock market world because over the last 50 years that's worked. People have done that forever. You change your stock name to whatever's hot, your stock is going to go up. So that's what happens here. And it's not like these stocks are happening because of technicals. It's not as if, and that's what I want to discuss because people are trying to play patterns on these companies. And, for the most part, all of the cannabis stocks, I could look at Can to Tilray to CGC to Aurora. You guys could pull up any one. They move pretty similar. Some do their own thing. Some have different days and weeks where they kind of either advance or decline, faster than the rest. But it just puts it into context. They all move together and they all end up pretty much in the same direction. And that's because it's what's driving the valuations and investors to pile into this. That's, I guess, one thing is like people have seen so far in 2018 is like even 2017 is when sketchier stuff starts to become more adopted and normal. And then you get your traditional investors start to pile into it. That's what happened to marijuana. That's what happened to Bitcoin. And how you guys are supposed to play this is understand what they're playing it off of if you really want to understand where this is going and seeing how whales are truly playing this and what their role is in buying and what companies they see and how they're going about playing it. But realistically, what's going to change investors' expectations is saying, okay, this is a good industry, this is bad, this has this opportunity, this has that. All that's really going to come down to is the legislation and news. So that's what I want to talk about and have you guys looking really. If you want to find patterns and find ways to predict where these stocks are going to go, start looking for stuff related to the politics of where things are advancing and changing. Like even today or yesterday, they changed the laws on hemp. They've now separated industrial hemp versus regular hemp, or the one that intoxicates you is what they said. So putting that in perspective, you could see stuff like that and try to find out who could be the winners and losers of that. Find people involved in that, who would benefit supply chain, supply lines, who would be interactive with that, and anything. And one company I found, I have a good one. I'm gonna make a video on it. It's a weed penny stock. I like it because people from politics are on the board of directors, people in the literal House and Senate, stuff like that, and find where people's perceptions and attitudes towards certain companies, which the laws, all that stuff. And if you could find dates on that, kind of like FDA approval type stuff, that is going to take you a lot further than trying to do technical analysis. Because someone wanted to look, if you wanted to technically predict any of these crazy moves, you couldn't on Canopy. This had no technical. You could have said, okay, yeah, buy in right here. You could have made some money, but fuck, man, you're late. You're late with any earning simple moving average crosses, anything. Oh, you could have sold out. He would have sold out here right before. A month later, they get this. This was the investment. Canopy started it. It was first in January. They all started to run, and that's what you'll see. They all started to do it because of the laws and what was expected. Then this was a big investment from Constellation on Canopy's part, and then Tilray got something too, but they all start moving around the same exact time. And they all start popping off of one big company investing after the first bubble, then people getting grow deals and signing a few contracts, a few specific strategic investments. Every single company from Tilray. So Tilray ran up, September, October. You're going to see the same thing in cannabis. See, September, October, end of August, but here's September. You run up, you go from $3 to $5. So this is a bigger percentage. Obviously Tilray went more. And now we have to talk about how do you find the Tilray. I think that is the question people should be asking is how do we find the best players? How do we find the Tilrays versus the cannabis? How do we find the stocks that are actually going to move $50, $100 versus these smaller ones? Because some of these penny stocks and this is what's been bothering me. This is what I've been saying in those scam and expose videos. A lot of YouTubers, they just tag these fucking tickers and people are very interested in them. And you guys are just watching them who are looking for it. And you got to understand these are shitty stocks that have been taken over by some sketchy guy slapping a name on it, doing PR stunts. It might move up, it might move down. It hit $10 here. Wow, great. That was just that first pump as cannabis in the name in January, the first time things happen. So you got to put it in a perspective and be careful. But there is a way you can find out. Find the fundamental reasons why companies like CGC and Tilray benefited and why they move so much. What is the fundamental reason behind why Tilray moves up so much with its share structure, stuff like that. But every single time, even the move here in late October, and that's even with Tilray, I made a video. You guys should check that out if you haven't. You could have made $2,000 to $200,000 on Tilray. And that was just this day right here because it out of nowhere shot up from 106 to like 136. And this was after the midterm election. There was positive votes in other states. The stock started going up a little bit. Then it came down. But then Attorney General Jeff Sessions resigned. He left. People are like, okay, that changes everything for weed. Old conservative white guy left office. What's happening? What's popping? So, yeah, that's pretty much it. But I think I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully that helps you guys out in some way. Don't get caught up with these technicals. Really caught up the news. Again, every single one of these pops can be related, where the big money makers happen. Again, that same move that I just explained with Attorney General, you're going to see it on every single one of these stocks. Where was it? Right here. 1016. See, they dumped afterwards. And, what made them dump is, understanding investors. Again, investors' expectations after that. Investors got really hyped. And really what happened, this whole pattern, if you're like, okay, well, how could we have predicted this drop in the cannabis stocks? It's simply the expectations coming into the election. People were expecting a lot. Then what happened kind of happened. 2 of the states legalized, a lot of places legalized, and that was good. But then investors were expecting a lot more and something crazier to happen, and it didn't happen. Then Attorney Jeff Sessions resigned. That was unexpected. That was kind of like the Fed the other day, saying that they're near the neutral mark. And then markets really reacted to that. But then the next coming days, more news started coming out where people were saying Attorney Jeff Sessions leaving isn't going to have any change. So then it kind of really went back to the news on the elections and the stock sold off. So that's pretty much it, though. I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're new. Give me some questions on this. Give me some companies we could explore if you guys want me to make some marijuana stock videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I love you all. Stay in school. Have a great weekend.